Okay, so most of you have finished with this. So you have all your pieces drawn and you're in the process of cutting them out. Remember, we cut on the solid lines, which means you're going to have a little 3-inch slit right here. You're going to cut until you hit the dotted line and stop. Cut until you hit the dotted line and stop. You're going to cut here so that you're going to end up with 2 fins. And then you're going to cut out your air scoop. And remember, the important part of the air scoop is that the slanted line at the top is a couple of 1/16 away from the dotted line that you use to fold. So you're going to do a quality control check before you cut. You're going to show me your final drawing, full size, that you made from the blueprint. I'm primarily looking at that to make sure that your slanted line is 2/16 away. And then you're ready to cut. Once they're cut out, now you're going to fold it. We want to fold on the dotted line. Thicker paper is hard to fold. If I try to bend that cardstock, it's going to give you a real curved type of fold. Well, I don't want a curved fold. I want a nice, sharp 90-degree edge right there. So we do what's called scoring or scratching. I like to use the end of a paper clip. And what I do is I put my finger right close to the end of the paper clip to put a strong force right there. And I use a ruler. And I'm going to scratch my piece exactly where your dotted lines are. And it makes it much easier to fold. So I need to fold down along this dotted line. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put it on that dotted line and I'm going to hold that ruler tightly. You got to hold the ruler tight. I'm going to take my paper clip, just the point of it, and I'm going to hold my ruler and I'm going to scratch. You can almost hear that gross sound. I'm going to scratch all the way down. And what that scratch allows you to do, you can see how I roughed it up a little bit. That scratch allows you to fold this easier and you get a really sharp 90-degree angle. Now, if you don't have the end of a paper clip, you can use the tip of your scissors. Be careful not to cut yourself, but I also need to fold right here. So I take my ruler, I put it on my dotted line, I spread my finger so I hold it tight. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to scratch and I'm going to scratch. And then I'm going to pick up my paper and that's going to give me a nice sharp fold. So when we're done, you can see how that's a nice sharp fold right there and how that's a nice sharp fold right there. If you do not scratch first, the fancy word for scratching is scoring. All right. Remember, I tell you all the time, science and math and uses big words for simple things. Somebody will tell you to score on the dotted lines. Well, that just means scratch on the dotted lines. So then I also have a dotted line right here. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'll take my scissors or my paper clip. And I scratch and I scratch. And then this piece ends up folding right there. So this is what I call the tail. That's going to be flexible. That's why you only cut 3 inches in, 3 inches in. So this is going to fold down, and this is going to be able to move up and down. So that's just scoring and folding. You also have to score and fold your air scoop on that line and on this line. So I take my ruler, I take the end of my paper clip, okay, or a pair of scissors, line up my ruler, scratch, scratch, turn it over, line up my ruler, scratch, scratch, and then that's going to allow me to get a nice sharp fold right there and a nice sharp fold right there. And then this piece should be 3 inches wide if we designed it correctly. And when I fold this piece, this should fit perfectly right inside of there. So you can see how that's going to fit nicely together when we go to assemble it. I'm not going to do the assembly until Monday. So all I want you to do today is to, one, show me your pieces before you cut it out, knowing that I'm primarily looking at the air scoop to be sure that your slanted line is a little bit away. Then cut them out, and then you're going to score, which means scratch and fold. Okay. Monday, we're going to assemble. So we're going to attach one of the fins to this back part of the flap. We're going to attach the other fin to that 3-inch back side of the flap. I'm going to put my air scoop underneath the very front so that it creates an angle as this runs down. And then we're going to take this tail in the back and we're going to glue it to the back of the fins right there. And then I add this little brass fastener, and that allows you to give the thrust. If you don't have that brass fastener, then all you have is a decoration. Without this brass fastener, that's what hooks up to the rubber band so that we can apply thrust. Okay, so today, I just want you to try to get everything ready to assemble for Monday.